We are live. Let's go. Pasting it internally. Okay, we are live with IT Career Agile Workshop. Here we go. 17 Jan, 9 p.m. Pasted. Okay, guys. So, let's get started then for the session today. Just a quick reminder. So, whatever we discussed yesterday as part of our program, I've already attached that to the LinkedIn. Okay. So, and even in our internal WhatsApp group, I shared a quick summary of that as well. So, important things. Okay, just sharing the screen again to have a quick view of this. Let's give a minute. Here's the screen share. So already on the same blog where we are writing daily updates of every topic. So quick glance into the IT industry. A few key pointers. Okay, whatever you code, be with the project till the time it goes to production. At least for a few of the projects, you should stay there to see what's happening in production, what is working, what's not working. That will make you better professional. Next, SDLC involves, like, project development involves a lot of people and processes, so it has to be done in a proper manner. And there is a need of a very effective software development life cycle. And over a period of time, Agile has come into picture. So which says don't develop the project in one go, rather than break it into smaller pieces. With every piece, develop few features, develop it, test it, demo it. If everything is good, take it to production. And by that way, incrementally keep building the application. That is what Agile says. And there are n number of ways of doing it. One popular way is Scrum, and even we yesterday touched a few areas of that. And yeah, that was the quick overview of stuff. Okay, later on we even digged down more into how the projects actually work, right? So generally, client will come with a requirement. That requirement is going to be shared to the technical team, the team who will develop it. Okay, so that is where the first section comes: requirement gathering. So requirement gathering is even called as a refinement meeting or grooming meeting, some multiple terminologies. Okay, so those kind of discussions will happen where the requirements will be handed over to the technical team. Now fine, that part is taken care. After that, there are two major phases. Okay, generally what happens in multiple projects, as soon as the requirement is shared to you, people will ask you, by give us estimate by when you can finish. Okay, generally you should not tell it straight away. Okay, without analysis, never give the estimate. Without approach finalizing, never give estimate, because it is bound to change due to n number of situations. Okay, so always whenever the requirement comes, so your answer should be, okay, we will internally discuss it, and let us analyze a few things, and then we will confirm back to you the estimates. And as part of your analysis, okay, so we discussed about this. Think about approach. How are you going to implement it? Okay, while building up this feature, what kind of impact it is going to have to the existing system? Okay, next, are there going to be any challenges which will come with this feature? Like, how are you going to solve it? Okay, so generally a basic thought process. Okay, what are the risks involved? Like dependency, what all kind of people within the team or outside the team will be required in order for this feature? Okay, so those kind of discussions will happen. Next, high level design discussions will happen, where the major thing, like about these libraries and third parties or additional softwares which will be used. Next, in the code, how are you going to at a high level arrange the pieces to deal with concurrency? What should be written on the database side? What should be written on the Java layer? and primarily what design patterns can be implemented in your code in order that the code stays nicely organized and good for long-term maintenance. Okay? So all these high-level design discussions will happen, and generally once these things are done, then whatever estimate you give, nothing but the amount of time that it will take to finish your or deliver the product, so then you will be in a more confident state to give the estimate. Okay, so this is what, guys, even let's say you are a job seeker right now. Okay, so I would suggest ki whatever program you are going to write, first before really writing it, try to really understand, okay, how are you going to develop it. Think about it. Okay, how are you going to develop it, which class, and how things will be. And once you are done with that, then try to estimate. Okay, try to make a think for yourself, in how much time will you be able to complete this project, whatever you are doing. Okay, and even in terms of hours, if you can estimate yourself, that is going to give you a nicer idea to be able to estimate the time factor. Okay, fine, and this quality will be required all throughout your IT career. And once you estimate it, then that is how the journey should be. Okay, and yesterday we said, right, ki this process, try to split this versus your development phase. Okay, so the 2 weeks sprint cycle which is going to happen, so during the sprint, okay, you straight away continue after this high level requirement part. So somehow you have to split these two things. If you are doing this analysis and high level designing as part of the sprint, okay, so don't really give any commitment, okay, by when you are going to finish it. Because let's say you say this feature I will finish it in the next coming 2 weeks. Okay, so that 2 weeks window in Agile is called as sprint. So a working window, 2 weeks working window in a Scrum terms, Agile terms, it is called as a sprint. So generally, let's say you might say, okay, this feature we will finish it in this sprint. But if you have not done the analysis or the high level approach finalizing, it's quite possible that that work might not happen and it might overflow to the next sprint, and then you become answerable, okay, why your work is always going forward. Okay, so you need to be aware, if you are planning to take this analysis and high level designing as part of the sprint, so don't give commitment by when it will be done. Initially say, I am going to first analyze it, finalize the approach, and then I can tell the estimate by when it will be done, and then you decide whether it can happen in the current sprint itself or whether it will be completed in the next sprint. Okay, but very important, be clear. Without these two things, don't really give any commitment of timelines. Okay, fine. So this is what it is. Now, as part of today's session, we are going to take it forward. Okay, and I have even reached out to one of my team member. Okay, and hopefully he might join a bit late. Okay, because some office work actually extended, and but if we are able to get him on time, so I will really like to have some conversation.
Hey, Tausif, I am in.
अच्छा, एकदम time पे is in. Okay, hi Shiva. Okay, so
Hey,
Shiva, can you even turn on your video, man?
yeah, let me check where can I find that. Okay, it's somewhere here. It
Okay.
seems. Okay. Hi, folks.
Yeah. So guys, okay, before getting started, so let me give a quick introduction of this guy. Okay, so शिवा, कैसे कौन सा वाला इंट्रोडक्शन दूं, सीरियस वाला दूं कि मजाक मस्ती वाला दूं?
Hey, normal, normal, wala. Normal, wala.
अच्छा,
Right.
okay. So guys, देखो, Shiva is okay. His full name is Shiva Raju. Okay, and we have been working since now like 5 years or something, maybe 4 years, 5 years, something like that. Okay, and his journey is also pretty interesting. He worked on site for some UK clients. He worked there, and those are certain experiences. He worked on multiple technologies. He did like a lot of R&D and switching from X technology to Y technology, and always having that kind of attitude to explore and learn. So he started with a development background into full stack development, and then he started leading the full UI division of our project. and then slowly he realized he's really having some additional good skills with management and stuff like that. So we discussed ki chalo, let's start exploring if you are fine with a scrum master kind of role. So then he transitioned to a scrum master. Okay, and in agile, that is one of our designation in the company. And he has been doing kitna time, Shiva, for scrum mastering? 3 years. He
It's
comes out
been 4, near to 4.
4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So since
Three and a
four
half,
years,
4.
he has been doing this scrum mastering. And guys, like I told you already, right? So we work in a very high-paced delivery company culture, where in two weeks we have to deliver a lot of things. And our company has grown like a startup to where we are right now. Okay. So and like talking about my organization, right? I joined my company 8 years ago. Okay, and it was a startup company. It started with like 3 people, and I was like 10th or 15th employee to join that company. Okay, and it was like very hardcore working culture there, like full daba ke kaam and all that. And slowly from that position, it's been like now 8 years, 9 years for the company. And right now we are like around 450, 500 employees. So the company has really grown through a lot of phases. And okay, the need with startup is, okay, you have to be better than majority of the other companies. Why? Because it is about existence, right? So if you're not good, if your projects are bad, if it takes too much of time, so clients will not be okay with such kind of things. So at affordable cost plus great quality at a very high pace, you have to work in startup kind of cultures. And that's what we have been doing. So it is a pretty challenging and aggressive thing. And what we realized is we hired a lot of other scrum masters from the market having 10 years of experience. Okay, some of them in my team as well and on the floor as well. But then we realized our need of the project is even way faster than what market scrum masters can really deliver, and people have to be really growing up to that speed in a faster pace. And we are very confident to say that Shiva Raju has been doing an excellent job at work with regards to this scrum mastering. Okay, and Shiva, this is recorded. Okay, you can show me this during appraisal discussion.
Sure, that's it.
मैं मजाक कर रहा हूँ यार, मत करो ऐसे.
I will do it.
अच्छा, you will do it. Huh? ठीक है, ठीक है. So yeah, it's been a pretty nice working with Shiva. So okay, so as part of today's session, okay, देखो, what the primary. Okay, so the primary focus is going to be, I'll quickly show you like what basic is flow of agile. Okay, so right from yesterday we covered 2 3 places, right? Refinement or grooming or requirement gathering will happen. Next analysis will happen. Next approach finalization and high level designing will happen. Once that is done, okay, then accordingly the scrum master plays a very crucial role along with the technical lead or the senior members of the team to really scope the work. Okay, in the next coming 2 weeks. So yesterday we said people work in 2 week slots. Okay, so in the next coming 2 weeks, how much work can be done? So that decision making primarily lies with the scrum master and the senior guys of the team. It could be tech lead or other senior guys. So then they finalize, okay, so in this full team, there are 7 people. And if they are taking leaves, no leaves, how much can be delivered, how much will not be delivered. And that finalizing, okay, which features will be finished as part of this sprint. So Scrum Master and the tech lead plays a critical role for that. Once they identify, then for the next coming 2 weeks, daily by daily, that work happens where you guys have to give stand-up updates to Scrum Master. So there are some best practices of doing that, not just coming and just giving a very dead statement. So it has to be done more effectively so that more value can come out of that. Shiva will be highlighting something on that. And then accordingly, iterations will happen. We'll discuss if Shiva would like to share any of his experiences about best practices of what people do right and what people do wrong during the sprint cycle. That will give some pointers to you as well. And then we give the demo by the end of sprint, and then we give it to the further phases. Okay. So basically, that's the plan. And Shiva, generally we do it like 9 to 10. Okay. So 10 p.m. we will be closing this session. Okay, so now before we get on with the things, let me share the screen. Acha, so before all that, Shiva, would you like to tell a few minutes and then we will touch the topic? Anything, Shiva, you would like to address to these people? So these are the guys, okay, some of them are already working in IT industry, maybe around 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, okay, some might be even more than that. And there are at the same time job seekers as well. Okay, so we have both the variations.
Okay. Not much from my side. Actually, I just want to stress one thing in the industry. So, if you are capable, then only the companies will hire you. But the main core part of thing is ethics and ownership. Those two things are very important to survive in IT industry. Not only in IT industry, wherever you are working in any other department or any other category you are working, these two things you should uh, have own it actually. So whatever you are working, take the ownership end to end, and whatever. So basically you should have some work ethics. So if you are a team member, so if some work is coming to you, so you should not feel this is my work, I done my work and I completed. So you should not like behave like that. It's a teamwork. So you should complete your work, and you should ready to support others. And if there are some issues with other teammates, you need to jump in and support them, and you take it through the bugs or whatever that coming. You need to give support, and at the same time those people also need to give support to you, so that if we can complete together, and we can complete and deliver together. So it's a teamwork, and the main thing is the ownership, guys. So in my career, I seen many things. Actually, I have many experiences where the ownership is lacking in the people. So as a techie, you will learn technology, you will get that, you will hire. But when you grow, you if you have these capabilities, owning the things, and the ethics, if you have these things, then only you will be become someone like tech lead or architect or something like that. Okay. So otherwise you will, if you have 15 years, 20 years experience, you still like a developer, you won't grow actually. Okay. So
Mm,
these are the main things, so which you need to uh, 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 gain through your experience. Yeah,
right.
that's what I just want to stress.
Yeah, yeah, very true, Shiva. Okay. And okay, guys, so chalo, let's get started then for the topic. But whatever he said, guys, take it on a very serious note, okay? Because industry is really struggling with good people. Okay, there might be technically capable people, but the project really needs good professionals who can perform greatly, plus take the teams together, and such people will be rewarded by the industry. Okay, and those like selfish, narrow-minded, such kind of people becomes a pain, and then there will be actions taken on them, right? So learn quickly. Okay, don't make too many mistakes, and don't keep repeating the same mistakes again and again. Okay, so keep your ego aside, be down to it, be ready to learn, be ready to support, and then build that kind of ownership which Shiva is talking about. Okay, very essential thing. Okay, fine. Now, sharing the screen, like how exactly a agile process looks like. Okay, so just have a look here. Okay, let me zoom this a bit. Okay, so just have a quick look. You will find there are a lot of people involved. Okay, so you need to be aware of these terms. The working professionals will definitely be knowing it. So today we'll not get into very basics of all this. Let's understand the best practices of what is what and utilize Shiva's time properly. Okay. Otherwise, yes, the textbook definitions of all this will be available on internet. But just understand there are primarily few designations when it comes to agile way of working. Okay, the person who gives the requirement to the team, that person is the product owner. Okay, and this product owner generally works very closely with the end customers, the clients, and then it works with a lot of other people behind the screen to finalize some requirements. Okay, so generally the technical team doesn't get directly exposed to the business guys, it happens via this route of product owner. Okay, that's the entry gate. Now the product owner collaborates, collects the requirement of what needs to be built up. Then, like we discussed yesterday, in requirement gathering or a refinement meeting or grooming meeting, the product owner comes together to the team and explains the requirement. Okay. Now देखो, the team is comprised of two pieces together. यहाँ पे ऐसे separate नहीं करेंगे. So the team is combination of two. Scrum Master plus the whole team actually works together to understand the requirements. Okay. Now the thing is, in this team we have all possible variations. We will have freshers, we will have interns, we will have mid-experienced people, we'll have juniors, we will have seniors. UI guys will be there, server guys will be there. Okay, maybe some database resources might also be there. Okay, and it depends, like DevOps people can also be there. Okay, so generally all of these things become part of one team. Okay, few pointers I would like to say just to clarify a few things. Okay, generally there are these two roles, uh, like DBAs and DevOps. Okay, so generally these guys will be working for multiple teams. So if it is one small team of 8 members or so, so generally they will not hire one DevOps or a DBA specifically for that team. So in such cases, if the team size is small, they will expect somebody from the team itself to take care of those responsibilities. Okay. However, there are many companies where there will be pool of DBAs, central pool of DBAs or central pool of DevOps engineers, and they will keep assisting multiple projects. Okay. So just understand, if you are into a DevOps category or a DBA category, compared to development, the need of DevOps, the count, if there are 10 developers, like 10 developers required, there might be need of only one DevOps, or for a 20 developer team, one DevOps might be required. Okay, and for a like very like 500 size company, generally a pool of 10-15 DevOps is also good enough. So just understand how the market actually stands, and same role goes for the DBA also. Okay, so that's how it is. So development opportunities will be far more compared to the DevOps opportunities. Okay, and for smaller teams you might not even find a DevOps, so it is expected that the backend developer itself should have basic knowledge of infrastructure to be able to take care. Okay, so fine, so that kind of stuff will be there, plus QA and everything becomes part of this. So these two guys come, understand the requirement, and yeah, all of those two activities happen. Okay, let's say whatever we discussed yesterday, analysis wala phase plus high level requirement phase. Okay, in tomorrow's session we will be getting in more details about high level designing and low level designing. Okay, tomorrow we'll pick that part. Okay, but now going forward here, so once this thing is done, now what happens is all these clarified item, okay, gets into a something called as product backlog, a list of features which needs to be done in a proper priority. Okay, then this team plus Scrum Master together picks the item from these requirements, and then they decide in the next coming 2 weeks. So generally it's a 2 week sprint, but some projects might have 1 week to 3 weeks to 4 weeks also. But on an average, let's say in a 2 weeks working duration, okay, how much the team can actually finish. So that kind of decisions is going to happen during the sprint planning meeting. Okay, so देखो यहाँ पे it's even mentioned, team selects starting at top as much as it can commit to deliver by the end of sprint. Nothing but in next 2 weeks, how much work can be done, the team defines it, and after that they, okay, then you assign task breakdown. Right now I'm just going through it in a faster manner. Okay, so if there are 10 features, who will be working on these features, who will be the UI, who will be the server, who will be the QA. Then the UI guy further says, okay, for this feature I have to do these 5 items, so he's going to write that in Jira or some tool. Okay, the server person says, okay, for this feature I have to do these 5-6 items, he writes his part. The QA says, I need this kind of details. So that is called as task breakdown. So everybody will be assigned some task, plus they read the ticket and they will further break down if for implementing this feature what needs to be done. Okay, again tomorrow we will get into more of those details, but today I'm just touching it at a high level. So once that is done, that is called as task breakdown, where everybody knows what they will do. Further, they break down their items for how they are planning to implement this feature. Okay. Once this is done, daily by daily, the team starts working together. They connect in the morning, every day morning time, along with the Scrum Master. The team connects to give the progress report. This meeting is also called as a Scrum meeting. Okay, so daily stand-up meeting or the Scrum meeting where everybody gives their own update, and that cycle keeps happening. And let's say if anywhere any kind of blockers are there, the team is not able to finish the work on time, or they are struggling with anything, or the plan of 2 weeks doesn't look achievable, that is where the Scrum Master role comes in picture, where these guys work very aggressively with the team to make sure that all these blockers are solved and the team progresses on the initial commitment which was done. Okay, so here we commit, we break it down, we work daily for that. Daily we tell the updates, and the team together solves all the problems that they are struggling, and making sure whatever is committed in the beginning, that kind of work is taken as final piece. Okay, and then that becomes the final piece, and this is going to be the final product will be demoed. Okay, and once it is demoed as part of the sprint review meeting, also this demo happens where you will be even showcasing it to the clients at times, and then this product owner is going to approve it for the launch. There are phases here at times, UAT and all that, but generally this gets approved for the launch and then it goes to production. Okay, so here you demo, and then this piece finishes, and once it goes to production, there is this another meeting, like we just study, okay, how this entire 2 weeks went. Okay, what did we do right there, what did we do wrong there, how do we improve this working cycle, is there any area of improvement. All of that discussions we do as part of sprint retrospective meeting. Okay, and once it is done, so you try to really implement that in the next 2 weeks of iteration, so that the team starts getting better with every cycle that they run. Okay, so this is what it is. I would give 2 minutes of time for you to really absorb what I said and just look at this picture. Okay, just 2 minutes of silence I'll give you. Just look at everything and try to just recollect what I spoke right now. Okay. Okay, and uske baad we will get Shiva in picture to really showcase some of the things, ke, how the sprint planning meeting is executed. What is the contribution coming from, let's say, junior developers or mid-level developers or senior developers, plus Scrum Master. So, what is the expectation out of sprint planning? So, Shiva is going to focus on that. Plus, what are the key highlights of the daily stand up? That will be the second area we will cover. And the third thing is during the day, if you are facing challenges anywhere during project development, how your approach should be during the day. Okay. So, we will touch that as the third approach. And then we will speak about something on demo and something on the retrospective. Okay. So, from the eyes of an experienced Scrum Master. Yeah, and people will look like, oh, शिवा को दाढ़ी बीड़ी है तो आईटी में पब्लिक ऐसे हो जाती है क्या? हाँ शिवा, कुछ बोलना है इस पे भाई?
Nothing. It's just like not getting. I just want to grow my beard. I would like to see if I grow my beard like this size. How would I look? That's it.
Nice. And guys, right now, just to know the role of Shiva. Okay, so primarily he is official Scrum Master for two of our teams. Okay, and per team wise, we have around 7 members. So nothing but 15 members. So Shiva is directly leading these 15 members as part of Scrum Mastering role. Plus, he is assisting a 8 member team separately. He is guiding them, coaching them on how to get the Scrums work right. Plus, we have another infrastructure team. So there also, whenever need basis, so Shiva jumps in picture. Okay. So basically, he's really taking care of like 15 members, 20 members, and working very aggressively with all of them to get the things through. Okay. That's where he has real practical, very detailed problem solving knowledge on how to deal with projects. ठीक है. Okay, Shiva. So chalo, let's touch the first box here. Okay. देखो, just from your eyes, the product owner has come into the system and he's having the meeting with you guys to have a requirement gathering discussion. Okay. Now, how do you
Yeah.
go from that requirement gathering till this sprint planning meeting? And what is the end
Okay.
outcome? Like how the full interaction happens till the sprint planning. थोड़ा सा वो pieces को you touch it on. Okay.
Okay, so here, this whatever this product backlog, so this will be taken care by product owner. So he will get the requirements from the stakeholders and he will create the ticket user story basically. And after creating, he will line up those in a manner on the priority based. So on the priority based, he will put up these things in the product backlog, which we say actually product backlog. So
Okay. So
before
Shiva
this,
mentioned one term called as user story. So the requirement is given in the form of user story in Jira, and that is available here. So just
yes,
clarifying some terminology. Yeah, Shiva, continue.
yeah.
Hmm.
So once he prepared this product backlog, so Scrum Master and product owner will schedule a call to go through this technical requirements, that user story. So we don't know because the product owner is preparing that user story. So he has to explain the Scrum team what that user story requirement is. So that for that we will schedule a call which we say as product backlog refinement session. So
Okay.
this is where
Next
first
second.
time.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen, and maybe Shiva, whatever terms you are saying, I'll parallelly note down as well. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So a product backlog
backlog refinement session.
refinement session or
Yeah.
grooming session. Okay,
Yes. So
fine.
this activity is performed before starting the sprint, because if you want to start a sprint, you need some work. So that work will be revealed in this event, which is like a we can say this is one of the sprint event. Okay. So there are four sprint events as per the Scrum guide, and some people include this sprint backlog as a sprint event. Okay, so kul milake we can say 5 events in the sprint. So this is the major and initial step to start a sprint. In this product backlog, so product owner comes with some user stories, and in the product backlog he will go through the entire ticket. So in the Jira ticket, whatever the section description section is there the all the requirements are mentioned. So product owner explains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the form of points. What we say, these points are nothing but acceptance criteria. Okay, suppose if you want to implement a login page, suppose for assume he is coming with a user story, that user story talking about the creating a login page. Okay, so in this login page, so the description would be like, as a user I want to sign in my web page using my username and password. This is the head tag of the user story. So high level description, but by this technical team will not understand what we need to implement, right? But that thing he has to mention some points. That points we call as acceptance criteria. So the first acceptance criteria in the web page, I need to enter email id. Then in the second I need to enter password. So first one username, second one acceptance criteria, second point is password, and third
Password.
button, login button. Okay, so this is acceptance criterias. And third one, when I enter my username and password, if I click, the both values should be validated. Okay, so validation in terms of if the username is email id, so whether user entered proper email id or not, we need to validate that. So these kind of points he will mention as point to AC1, AC2, AC3, AC4. which is nothing but a acceptance criteria. Okay, so this is part of user story description. For giving this as it is, if I provided to you, could you able to design this a login page? We cannot, because we need that wireframe as well. So how it should look, what colors we need to use. So for this thing, the product owner might got the wireframe or UI template, what we say. So that template has to be attached to the user story. So he will go through the template. He will open up the template and he will explain these are the this is how the page should look. Okay, so these kind of requirements he will explain one by one, one by one, one by one. In this product backlog refinement session from tech team, what we need to understand, whatever product owner presenting, are we understood or not? Okay, if it is existing system, is this requirement fits into in our system or not? If it is not fitting, so what kind of questions, if you have any questions, if you have any clarifications required, then you need to raise a question. Hey buddy, you are saying this username is a email id, but in our system we are using something else, like Shivarajudi is my username, we are not using email ids, but your story is saying email id, so how can it fit in our system? So these kind of clarifications we need to ask the product owner. So this is where we need to understand the requirements. So questionnaire kind of thing. So he explains, if we have doubt, we will ask him, and then we will ask him to update the ticket. So once the ticket is the ticket is gone through and understood, then he will jump into the next ticket. Okay. In between this, in this product backlog refinement session, sometimes we do estimate story points as well. So whatever the ticket we are going through, so we need to estimate that ticket, right? So some estimation has to be there. That estimations we will do in terms of story points. So these story points are nothing but Fibonacci series. So like 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. So this kind of Fibonacci series, we will estimate that ticket. If it is a small, if all we know the requirement already, where to implement, what to implement, we already know as a technical team, then we will give 1 or 2. Okay, and efforts are there. Okay, so more efforts are required, like 3 days, 4 days we need to spend, and there is a risk if you implement this might affect somewhere else as well. So this kind of risk also there. So in this scenario, we will increase the story point to showcase there is a risk. So this might take much a bit time
Right.
to
So
analysis or
just to
implement.
yeah, just to break down those pieces. So they right now, while Shiva is speaking about it, he's talking about risk. He's talking about how much complicated it is, how to do, how not to do, and what will be the approach of implementation. If it is clear and if it is easy, we'll get less story points. Nothing, but he's already speaking here, analysis plus high level approach. Okay, these things also starts becoming clear, and then the team goes for really story pointing the estimates. Okay, and
Yes.
like in our team, what Shiva, right, we do is sometimes during this requirement call itself, if the tickets are very small where it is very clear, we estimate is here. Otherwise we have our internal refinement call, right, where
Yes.
these kind
Yes.
of discussions happen. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that's
Actually,
where,
that refinement session itself calls as a sprint planning.
okay, internal
Yeah.
refinement session where the team does these kind of additional discussions, and then story pointing and all of that is happening. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Shiva, continue.
Okay, so in this refinement backlog, product backlog refinement session, once it is done, then the tickets are lined up for the sprint backlog. So in between, we will conduct a sprint planning meeting. So where we do the estimations plus assigning these tickets to the resources. So we can give this freedom as well to the tech team. So if you guys are already in a team, you are working in the team, if the ticket is yeah, the requirement, you are very clear with the requirement and you want to work with that, you can say, hey Scrum Master, I want to pick this ticket in the next sprint. that we can do it. Okay, so most of the teams in agile world following the same way. So we are giving that freedom to pick up that ticket by the tech team. So the tech team, whatever developer ho ya QA, they can pick those tickets to for the next sprint. So it's like advance booking kind of thing. Okay, so once this sprint planning is done, then the sprint backlog will be ready. Okay, once the sprint backlog is ready, then here the scrum master work comes into the picture. So we need to first estimate how much we can deliver as part of the sprint. For this, we need to take in consideration of people's planned leaves and how many days in the sprint working days are available in the sprint. Are there any public holidays in the sprint? So based on this, we need to calculate. The scrum master will calculate the efforts. Based on that efforts, we will update to product owner. Hey, product owner, this much of efforts we have in this sprint. So this much of work we can do it in this sprint and we can deliver as part of the sprint. So this calculations and this activity is done by the scrum master. Then he will get the approval from the product owner. If everything is done, then we are ready to go for we are ready to start the sprint. Okay, so the sprint duration might 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, and some of the companies are having a 1 month sprint as well. So it depends upon the organization. Okay,
Okay, just
here
a few things. Yeah, Shiva, just a few things
yeah,
here. Okay. So guys, देखो, everyone. So Shiva first spoke about a detailed requirement grooming is going to happen, where to and fro lot of questions will happen. Full clarity should come to the team. If there is no clarity, they will ask questions, and then the product owner explains them. If he's not knowing something, he further discusses internally, comes back with the answers, and then the team. There is a lot of to and fro. Okay. Now, as an
yeah,
end result, expectation is we should fully understand the requirement. Next, we should be clear on how we want to build this system, and we should fully do the analysis. Okay, what will be the impact? What is the risk? What are the dependencies? All of that. Okay. If all of these things, so either that can happen in one call itself, but generally for big features, it doesn't happen like that. So for that, we have another meeting called as internal refinement meeting, where it is full between the technical team and the scrum master. This is optional. Okay. So many companies don't do this separately. Okay. They might just say in sprint planning itself, let's have a 3 hour, 4 hour call and then do it. But we figured out that is very last moment. It might be very risky. So we introduce another kind of custom meeting for us. We call it as internal refinement, where the tech team comes together to further discuss on all these things. And as an end result, we should be fully clear. Plus, we should be in a shape to estimate the tickets. Okay, and generally in Agile, the estimation happens on story pointing. Okay, if you are not understanding why and all that, for now, just leave it. But it is a number which talks about by when the work can happen, how much complicated the work is. It can help to estimate. For now, just know it like that. I'll later talk about this. Okay? And देखो, फिर then further while we are doing this sprint planning meeting, so basic expectation is every ticket which was shared or requirement which was shared, okay, we should be able to estimate it with proper story point. Okay. Next, we should have this task allocation also ready. Okay, who can work on what tickets? Okay, there is this ordering related thing you need to understand. Okay. Now, the point is sprint planning meeting is here you are deciding for next 2 weeks what will like how much work we can do. Okay. Now, automatically there could be a possibility in the next 2 weeks some of the team members are going for leave, or there could be a public holiday, or there could be any kind of situation. So that kind of time has to be considered. Okay. So if it is a 10 days sprint, right, 10 days sprint, so if there are somebody's on leave, so for that person 9 days will be considered. For rest of the team it will be 10 days considered. If there is a public holiday involved, so then for entire team 9 days will be considered. Okay. Next, further on top of this, if there are multiple meetings, Okay, nothing but daily stand-ups will be there and lot of other meetings will be there. So maybe daily 1 hour of team can be removed if there are like daily 1 hour of meetings there, so that work will also be removed. Nothing but Shiva did not get in details because it is Scrum Master's headache to ensure that these things are proper. But just know it, as a Scrum Master, Shiva ensures ki if it is a 7 member team, okay, how much total hours of work. Okay, this is important because this is how you guys should properly estimate your work. Okay, how much total hours of work can team deliver in next 2 weeks? Okay, now this could be, let's say, 120 hours, or let's say 90 hours, or 130 hours. It could be anything depending upon these vacations or leave plans or meeting time minusing, whatever hour comes. So we will be able to then, as a Scrum Master, he clearly talks to product owner, for this coming sprint we can do only 120 hours of total work. Okay, and then Shiva is already clear, okay, each of the ticket. Okay, while we have done the story point estimation, even during this time we do this R estimation as well. Okay, nothing but amount of time that it will take to finish. Okay, again we will get into more details, but here it comes like UI time, server time. Okay, some companies might not do this. They might simply say based upon story pointing le lete, but we realized a lot of uncertainties were coming because of that. So what we applied is we applied old non-agile way of even time calculations, and we mixed it along with the agile calculations of story pointing. Okay, so we are doing it that detailed. So because of that, guys, it's been like so many years, and very few times our any feature has moved out of a sprint. Otherwise we have always been perfect. Whatever we plan, we deliver it. Our features don't overflow. That is 99% times it has happened since past 4 years, and that is a big achievement. For many projects this will not happen, but we are able to get to that because we work very precisely here. Okay, so along with story pointing, here the team even discusses UI time, server time, QA test cases time, QA test case execution time. Okay, so basically all this, if there is any other unit testing, that time will be there. If there is some level of automation, maybe that will also be factored in. So there are multiple factors, and then we will know for each feature, let's say 8 hours it will take to do. So feature 1 will take 8 hours. Feature 2, let's say, take 16 hours, and so on and so forth. So now what is happening is, one side we have list of features with all the time which it takes to finish. Okay. Plus on the second side, we have for this sprint how many hours of work can be done. Now Shiva gets in touch with the product owner to discuss why we can do only 120 hours. Now we have this list of items. We have story pointed it. We have the time factor. Now let's try to see how much we can do it as part of this 120. And this is where Shiva is saying even the team members come in picture here, where the team member says, oh, this feature has to be done before that feature only. So this should not be taken right now. So all those discussions will happen, and together then product owner, the team and Scrum Master finalizes okay, which features are practical to do as part of this 120 hours of work. And guys, you have to involve very closely as part of this for making this decision, because if unrealistic task is assigned to you during sprint planning which you feel you cannot deliver as part of current sprint, during this time itself you should raise, okay, I'm not sure whether it will happen or not happen, I need this support, I need that support. To make it collaborative. Okay, don't be quiet because that will backfire. Okay. Okay, so yeah, Shiva, what next?
Yeah, so once we are ready with the all these things, then we can straight away start a sprint. And in the sprint, the tech team will start whatever they pick. They will start working on the items. So during the sprint, we daily 15 minutes we conduct a stand-up meeting before starting the day, which we say like daily stand-up meeting. So in that daily stand-up meeting, we will focus what I did yesterday, what I am planning to do today, and is there any impediment on my work, or is there any dependency on my work. So these are the things we need to discuss as a scrum master. I have to stress on these areas on the when we are discussing with the team. So whenever they are updating, so I need to ask right questions to get the proper status. So sometimes what happens, the people used to work but they are unable to express what they did yesterday. So in that case, the scrum master role comes into the picture to ask right questions. So as a tech person, as a developer, I already worked as a developer, so I know what kind of development he is doing, what kind of work he is doing. So based on my previous knowledge, I'll ask some questions. By that I understood, oh, this person completed this much of work on this item. So yeah, and remaining we have some time, so he can work on and he can complete. So this kind of estimations, I'll get that sense, and based on that we know actually, so he can deliver. But as
Now
a
I'll
tech
give you
team,
one suggestion, okay, everybody. So, dekho, based upon what Shiva said right now, okay, you need to understand that sometimes the team members are not giving clear clarity of what they did yesterday, what they are planning to do today. Okay. Now, dekho, Shiva is saying as a scrum master, based upon his experience, he will ask and get the details. But what we realized is not every scrum master is also able to do that kind of work. So in such case, what is happening if the scrum master is also not asking the right questions, getting that information, plus you are also not telling, such projects, such teams really struggle a lot. So later on, there will be surprises. Okay, this is not done, that is not done, and then the team has to deliver by stretching late. It goes to the QA late. The quality is also impacted. Team is working late nights, stretching over weekends. It all happened because clarity of communication was not there, and the scrum master also did not dig in and ask the right question. So it's a fault of everybody. Okay. So guys, देखो, again, like we said, you take the full ownership. You don't be at the mercy of anybody. You give your full clarification properly. If you are blocked anywhere, if you are facing any problem, tell them in the meeting. If you did something, tell them. If you are waiting on something, tell them. Don't do any hide and seek. Okay, don't try that. If I tell, what will they say if I am delayed and all. Be honest and give a transparent picture. If you think, along with this, if you think you will not be able to finish the work on time, even tell that. Okay, nothing but your due date. If you think not possible to meet the defined due date, so in 3 days it will happen, but if you think no, it's not possible, tell it very clearly, I don't think that due date is possible, and then give the reason why, so that the scrum master and the team can do something to really solve your problem. Okay. Yeah, Shiva, what more? Hmm.
yeah, so in this impediments related, so the people should be the developers should be very clear what kind of impediment you are facing. If you are facing, then okay. If you are in, so there is a thumb rule in our company. So 15 minutes thumb rule. So as a developer, if you are working on a feature or something, if you stuck somewhere, try for 15 minutes, not more than that. If you can resolve, then fine. If you could not resolve, then take your laptop, go somewhere, reach somebody, get the help, but don't waste the time. So this 15 minutes rule, if you apply, then there won't be any impediments in our sprint execution part. So the people are failing at here because the ego comes into the picture here. Hey, why should I ask them? I know I can do it. I can search. I can Google it. But yeah, sometimes some solutions are not available anywhere. So in that case, we have to reach out and we need to get help. That's where the getting help and the giving that helping hand is very important in IT as a team work. Okay, so this is main thing. And once the everything is done, so presume everything is done and the sprint we completed, the task completed, QA signed off, and everything done. On the last day of the sprint, we will conduct one more session, which is a demo session to the product owners. So which we say sprint review session. Sprint review session is nothing but whatever we implemented these 2 weeks, we are presenting that to the product owner. Hey,
Shiva,
buddy, you
let's
have
see.
given.
Yeah, before
Yeah,
we touch this, let's just talk about this key. Dekho, during the day challenges. So Shiva said one of a technique which we are following in our company. It is like earlier it was 15-minute rule. Okay. But later on, I think some more time was added to it, saying 30-minute rule something because the team
yeah,
was
no
remote
problem.
and all that. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
during remote times, work from home times, थोड़ा सा उसको और बढ़ा दिए थे 30 minutes and all.
yeah,
But देखो,
sure, agree.
basically this rule is कि if you are blocked during the day and you are not able to solve the problem on your own, you are putting a lot of efforts, ideas are not coming, you're not able to solve it. Now in such cases, immediately reach out to the other team members for help. Don't wait for tomorrow. Okay, I'll go in the stand up and then I will say I'm blocked here and I'm not able to solve, get my done thing. Okay. So during the day, if you face any problem, reach out to your team members for solving it. Don't work for waiting game. Okay. So that's one very important rule which you need to do. And if there is any follow-ups, okay, somebody is not giving you answers. So during the day, try to follow up with people to get the dependent answers. Okay, so that is another thing which you have to always make sure. Okay, and there is another thing, try to have frequent code reviews. Nothing but whatever you are coding, keep your discussing your approach and keep reviewing whatever code you do very time to time with your tech leads. Okay, generally what happens is people develop everything, they take a lot of time, and after that they go for reviews and the tech lead says no, this is not right, this is not right, and then that further takes a lot of more time. So guys, these two things, like frequently whatever you are going to develop and all, have day-to-day conversations with your seniors. Okay, hey, I'm building up like this, and then very frequently have reviews of that. Maybe every 2 3 days you need to be very closely interactive to discuss upon these things. Okay, don't wait for any system or process to come up for that, but your work, make sure that the leads are clear of what you are building, how you are building, and when you review it, make sure that there should be no rework. There has to be one thumb rule of your sprint execution: no rework. Save time, basically work in an optimized manner, because if rework happens, everything gets delayed. So these are few basic things of how you deal with your day-to-day challenges. Okay, okay, fine. And Shiva, yes, moving on to the demo.
Yeah, so demo in sprint review session. So whatever we implemented so far this 2 weeks, so we will present, and in that, if there are any observations or like the bugs or deviations in the requirements, if something is coming up, so we need to plan and we need to fix, and we should roll out those changes to stage or production, whatever it is after that sprint. Okay, so this is the one, and the last event of the sprint is sprint retrospective. This is very important of the event for the every sprint team actually. So this is like core. Okay, so here as a developer we need to open up. Okay, so sometimes what happen, if I raise anything related to plan, our scrum master will uh, he might happen in the future, or in appraisal he might uh, do something like in this kind of feelings, the people might not open in this retrospective session. So without any hesitation, we need to give our feedback or anything you faced during the sprint. So this is the place where you can speak and put your point in front of product owner, in front of scrum master and tech team. So here what we see, what we learned during this 2 week sprint, what we did wrong, what we did correct, and what we learned. These three things we need to discuss in the sprint retrospective. So this is nothing but like retrospecting us. Okay, so is did we get proper work or proper clarifications from the product owner? Is scrum master did plan correctly or not? Are we overloaded or low loaded. So these kind of things we can discuss, and we can put the points, and we can discuss this after every sprint by sprint. Okay, so suppose you did sprint 1 and you completed the retrospective. After sprint 2, if you are again meeting the retrospection meeting, you should go through the last retrospective points. What are the last retrospective points? In that, what we did, are there any action items, are we met that action items, are closed that or not, still pending? So if they are pending, what is the current status of those items? So this kind of discussion has to happen first, then we need to move on the second sprint retrospection. So this is like a cycle, sprint by sprint, sprint by sprint. We need to discuss, and we need to learn from every mistake for sprint day. So this is the last event of the sprint. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. So yes, I think for working professionals, it will already give some clarity. Okay. Like you already know this, but there are few basic things we just try to understand. Grooming, internal refinement. Okay. And then with proper analysis, approaches, finalizing the estimates, how much time it is going to take in terms of story pointing. I will tomorrow share even how to calculate story pointing related stuff. Next, every developer also plays a very critical role during sprint planning. Okay. As part of that, you would have to get into details, okay, even sometimes closely estimating how much time it might take to finish that ticket. Okay. Next, if there are some questions which are not answered, you need to already tell to your team members, hey, I'm still waiting on these things. They are not yet answered. If we pick it up and if later on the requirement changes, it will be rework. So are we okay with that? So you need to really understand the tickets and ask these kind of problem questions. Okay. Next, which items will be picked by which team members? You need to help making that decision. Okay, the team decides who will be working on what. Okay, and guys, they go very dynamically and sensibly. You can say, okay, I want to work on this feature, and then next you feel some other feature is interesting, you can choose to work on that. But make sure it's a team effort. So everybody should get a learning opportunity, and everybody should do a maintenance work also. Okay, so it should not be like every time I want the best work of all, because then your team will have problems with you. So make sure for some sprint you are taking challenging work, for some other sprint you are giving it to somebody else. Okay, and guys, it's completely up to you. But if you maintain good bonds within your team, you can start taking up, let's say, UI role for some sprint. Okay, and a UI guy can take server role for some sprint. Just make sure that by the end of the sprint, whatever work is planned, that gets delivered without quality compromise. And this, then rest everything is up to the team itself. Okay, so there is bigger chances of even becoming a full stack here. Okay, so that is where involve very closely during sprint planning to making these decisions. Who will work on what? Are there any questions? Do you think that work is realistic to finish in that much of time? What work you want, what work should be given by somebody else? First, which feature should be developed, then which feature should be developed. There will be sometimes order also of these features. So you need to make all these decisions during sprint planning. And then day-to-day activity we already covered. Don't get blocked, ask for help, and during the day follow up with the items. These checklists I will make it available to you guys. Plus during the stand up, few of the another important things, like Shiva pointed, sometimes people don't give clarity. So you need to be really good in giving this clarity. Be honest, be transparent, no hide and seek. Every time you do a hide and seek, you are inviting problems to yourself plus the sprint planning, sprint delivery. Okay, so no need of doing that. In the end, you demo it, and then comes the retrospection, where you study how the last sprint went, goods, bads, stuff like that. And what happens is, when you study this, you will get some action points. Okay, this we did not do right. Then automatically you try to improve that in the next sprint. And then when the next sprint will end, again you just see, oh, last time we discussed, okay, this was one problem. Did we really solve it? And if it is not solved, that means again for this sprint also you should try to solve it. By that way, the discussion which you did is never getting lost. You will always be able to fix these problems, and by this way your clients will always be happy and things will always be moving. Okay, So this is what it is. I'll share a quick attendance, guys. Just give a minute. Go through this session. Okay. So all the guys, it was, yes, a quick session, but touching on all the key areas. Okay. And hope you got some of the key pointers which we were trying to say. If you have any question with regards to today's thing, okay, in your attendance right now, write the question. Tomorrow we will start with the Q&A only. Okay. Any question about what we discussed yesterday, what we discussed today, just write it in this attendance. I'm pasting it in chat here. The code for today is 7777. Okay, so think about it. If you have any question with regards to our yesterday and today, write it. Tomorrow we'll start with the Q&As only, and in the next coming few days we are going to discuss about the same items. Okay, pasted it to all. And meanwhile, Shiva, let me thank you okay, for joining it at such a short notice. Okay, so in the
You're welcome,
morning,
Tausif.
yeah, so in the morning sometime I just had got a thought, maybe I'll have Shiva itself, the core guy, to really speak upon these angles. And I think lunchtime, something like that, I just called Shiva कि भाई possible है क्या आज करना है. And then Shiva is like चलो करते हैं. And like okay, and then he was getting late for I think due to office work he was getting late to log in. Also he actually was in office, so he was driving back to home and lot of things. तो मैं बोला भाई साहब अभी लेट हो गया, अभी let's see by when Shiva comes. So really thanks Shiva for making it possible. ठीक है. And
Thank you,
guys, do you
Tausif,
have
for giving
anything to
this.
say to Shiva? Can you write it in comment, guys? देखते थोड़ा शिवा को कुछ पढ़ा देते, like और अच्छा अच्छा लिख दो guys, थोड़ा अच्छा अच्छा लिख दो, बंदा इतना टाइम लेके आया है. Okay.
Hi, sir.
And Shiva, how is it working with the team? How do you feel like when challenging work is happening, interesting work is happening? How does that environment
it's
look like? Hmm.
it's great, Tausif. Yeah, fortunately we got good people, so everybody understood what is the situation in the team. So everybody working hard and supporting. So enjoying a lot actually, and day by day we are learning new things as well. How to resolve the impediments and challenges to overcome. So there are many things. Yeah, it's a life during this. Learn many things actually. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Shiva, there are a few things in comments. First of all, okay, thank you so much, Shiva sir. Okay. So,
Hey,
Shinu,
don't call me
yeah.
sir.
So Shinu is calling, telling that. Okay. Now, second, Praveen is saying another question. Ki, okay, as a Scrum Master, okay, is it required to know all the languages? Okay, programming
No,
languages.
not required. Not required.
Yeah.
It's not
देखो,
compulsory. If you have technical knowledge, then it's an added advantage. Okay, so you
hmm,
can drive the team in a right manner. Okay, if you're not aware, if you're not technically, you're not aware, then yeah, there might be some struggles to deal the technical team. So that is the only challenge.
yeah. And in my experience, what I've seen is I've seen developers becoming a Scrum Master. I have even seen testers becoming a Scrum Master. And I have even seen DevOps guys becoming a Scrum Master. So basically, anybody can be in that role. Okay?
Yeah.
And for some projects, they do a rotating Scrum Master kind of. So the developer itself becomes a Scrum Master, and for 2 weeks, this guy will be there. Then somebody else will be there. So those kind of models can also be there. Okay? So, but yes, this is how it goes. Okay. Next, Shiva, there is one more thing. Great session, sir. Thanks a lot, Shiva Garu.
Pleasure, guys. Pleasure.
Okay. And next, there is like very interesting session. That is another question. Okay. Now there is another feedback. Like, thanks, Shiva. Earlier, thought I gone through these concepts multiple times. Now I get full clarity of how agile process gets involved. Okay. Very nice. Okay.
Thank you.
Next,
Nice.
there is another question. He need to discuss user stories with product owner and team. So, देखो, so Praveen, your point is Scrum Master does the facilitating kind of a role here. So it's not like requirement grooming wise Scrum Master sits on the driving seat. Scrum Master will make sure that product owner and the team comes together and they understand the requirement properly. Okay? And Scrum Master just logically asks the right question so that he gives clarity here. These guys give clarity to there and just trying to merge things together. Okay? And I think a logical way of thinking is very essential, which is like functional knowledge has to be there. That will be a very nice added advantage. Okay? And anybody can become a Scrum Master. That management skill is required. Okay? If you are very independent resource, then it will be a struggle. Okay, fine. Anything else for today, guys, or we can close the day? Okay. Okay. Fine, guys, and your questions might be there in attendance. So tomorrow we'll start the session with that itself, and there are a few more things we will be discussing. Okay. So, chalo, thank you, Shiva, and thank you everybody for this amazing time. And thanks, Shiva. Okay.
Chalo. Thank you, folks. Bye bye.
All the best. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Have a nice